and her book, okay? Here we go. Miss Shalonda Williams.
Hey,
How you doing?
All right.
this is how I'm going to introduce myself, okay? Entry number 7 is entitled, "Now I'm Not Okay." It's easy for folks to assume that just because I love the Lord that I'm good all the time. And they figure that because I'm strong that I never have moments of vulnerability and times of wanting to break down, up, and out. Their thought process is one of trained false perception, and they perceive that love never has moments of regrets or thoughts of mental suicide or emotional homicide, but it does. When one looks upon the face alone, they could very well miss what lies beneath the eyes, the agony that lies there like a sleeping dog daring to be awakened. The streams of tears pulled up in waiting, praying that someone would just give them permission to run down my face, and then my neck, and then my chest, down my very feet, down the sidewalk, making a trail. Yeah, there's just that much oceaned up and ready to flow. But all they see is the strength and resilience, and the strength and determination, and the strength and the passion, and the strength and the smiles, and the strength and the love, and the strength and the compassion, and the strength and the strength and the strength. And I'm so tired of being strong. No, I'm not okay. When oh when do I get to just take the strength mask off and just be the vulnerable heck of a woman that I am? Though I know that God holds me and bears my weight, when will there be a sister's keeper that's strong enough to be his arms in the earth that will say, shh, rest, and just let me hold you, because I know that you're not okay today. Now, don't get it twisted. I don't feel this way every day, and I'm not asking to bow out of life or relationships. I'm just saying what I'm saying. And people, friends, loved ones, family, that is today. No, I'm not okay. No limelight can shine on it and make it scatter. No salve can be put on it to take the sting away at this moment. And your quick 3 steps to emotional freedom can't free me. Can you handle that? That today I'm not okay. That today I can't carry your weight because mine is about to bend my back. That today I can't embrace you because my arms are too busy holding up my own heart and my head and my self-worth. Today. Now tomorrow, all may be well with me, and I will indeed revel in that day, but not today, no, I'm not okay, and I just want to know that that's okay with you.
Hey.
Yes.
She needs finger snap. Finger snap.
Finger snap. Yes.
The title of this book is "Now I'm Not Okay." Don't forget the 3 W's. Because there are moments that we have in life where a simple "no, I'm not doing good" is not enough. We talked a lot about today, as we listen to everybody else give their stories, of how hurt people. And the only saving grace that I had, that many people do have, is the fact that I did grow up in church. I did grow up with people telling me that God was the answer, but I didn't know that until I tried it for myself. And so it doesn't matter how many times you tell a person over and over and over again it's going to be okay. The truth of the matter is until they come to grips with the fact that there's a way to be okay, they're not okay. And is it okay for them to tell you that they're not okay? So this book is a very transparent look at some of the things that I've experienced in life from 6 years old up until this moment, actually a few weeks ago. And I get to share real accounts of the moments when I wasn't okay, whether it broke me or whether it woke me up. I've written a lot of books. I've been published since 2007, but this particular book is so personal to the point where when I know I'm going to share it with somebody, I kind of have to give them a moment to say, look, now it's real. It's not one of them things that you can just take and act like you're going to read it and toss it to the side, because once you start reading it, you're going to want to finish it. So I've had a lot of people so far come and say, oh my God, I feel like you're telling my story. I talk about being 6 years old and what it felt like to do the unthinkable at 6 years old and have to learn how to master it so I can get something that I wanted from somebody. And at 6 years old, what do you know about saying no to a person asking you to perform on them? Because you're 6, and all you know is that you want what you want. I want what he had. And this was the way to get it. I didn't know what the word dirty felt like until I got, I didn't know that I felt dirty until I got older and I understood what that meant, right? At 6 years old, I felt dirty. I talk about the other moments where we may have experimented with each other, but it was a totally different feeling than asking somebody to demean themselves for a treat. And he didn't ask me to do it for something big and major, do me a really huge favor, get me out of this punishment, something like that. No, it was really minor. It was a snack. And I come to realize today that what we would call that is prostitution. Do this for me so I can give you what you want. And a lot of times we go through things in our lives and we don't understand what it's called until we finally get old enough to be able to relate. So this, Now I'm Not Okay, Excuse Me While I Unmask, is really a story, a time of me sharing with God my feeling at the time. That's why they're written in journal entries. When I talked to him about being 6 years old, I know he already knows all this, right? But I get to share from my perspective. Dear man upstairs that everybody at church talks about. Because though I gave my life to Christ at 5, I still didn't honestly understand who you were, because truth is, no car horn blew, nobody came and knocked on the door, my aunties didn't get out of the meeting early enough to come outside and stop what was happening. We were in a car. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a very, very real perspective. The ministry that God gave me started out to really just aid the homeless and speak to women and adolescents everywhere, because these are real live truths in people's lives. And they don't know how to express it. They don't know how to say, I'm not good today. We put on a mask, we wear it, and we think that everybody's supposed to just deal with it. But the truth is, when pastors are sitting in their studies and they're blowing their brains out because they're ministering to a bunch of people, but they want the healing that they're preaching, we have to talk about it, right? When we are in our different organizations and we're starting businesses and we're starting ministries, and then 2 weeks later you hear that this person is no longer with us because somebody did something to them or they decided to clock out of life, you gotta talk about it, because it's real. Now. It's for men, it's for women, because men get molested too.
That's right.
It's for men, it's for women, men get bullied too.
Yep.
Men are promiscuous too. Yes. Men are sex addicts too. Women are sex addicts. You got
now.
16, 15, 16, 17-year-olds that's already addicted to sex and they don't even know it. They just think they like it. And the truth be told is that they'll do it even if they don't like it, because they just need a fix.
Come on.
So, now I'm not okay. That's the name of the book. Right now, what I wanted is for people to get it. So I left it on Amazon. The Kindle ebook version of it is $2.99 on Amazon, which is so dirt cheap, it's crazy.
Yes.
It is. That is.
For what's going to be exposed here, and for the healing that's going to come if you allow it to help heal you. But I did want to keep the ebook at $2.99 until the end of August, which I'm going to. It's $15.99 on Amazon, but I'm also doing autographed copies for the same amount, but you can send money to me instead of going to Amazon. So go to my website, www.theinspirationaltreasure.com. Click on that book, that awesome, beautiful, amazing cover.
I love
and then
cover.
go to Amazon.com and then pick your copy up and and get healed, get whole. You said something while you were talking, and you talked about your life as a German and living with your family, and it was what it was the norm, right? And if I can be honest with you, America has awakened a lot of things in us that would have never been awakened because it was the norm. Children getting their tails towed up for acting up when they know they're supposed to do right. That's the norm. Spare the rod, spoil the child. It's not something that's gonna kill you. But when abuse comes in, it's different. You know? When it's domestic violence, is different. You know, post-traumatic stress disorder is very real, and it doesn't just happen to military men. It happens to people who have been raped, people who have been in extreme car accidents, people who live with, or even went to school and were bullied. You know, post-traumatic stress can come from being bullied. And, in this book, I talk about an incident where I got the blood vessels in my eye were busted. You know, by somebody that actually called my boyfriend. And he was suspended. His cousin felt me on my butt. I slapped them and they jumped me after school. 2 boys jumped an 8-year-old girl after school, and he hit me in the eye with a book bag, and it busted all the blood vessels in my eye. I was always the new kid, so I wanted to fit in. So this was another thing to cause me not to be able to fit in. Bullying is real. Promiscuity is real because you're trying to figure out something. When I talk about being 6 years old and going through the motions with him, the other little touching it wasn't something that I was offended by because I was a kid. He was a kid. It was curiosity. The norm in many households, whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
Right?
Right?
And so it was curiosity. It didn't bother me. But what began to bother me is when we would go out to play and he would make me go play with other people and he would go and chase the little girl down the street. Some things we just don't recognize. But you're not supposed to be jealous. It's your cousin. How you gonna be jealous of well, my cousin is touching me? My cousin is spending time with me in the house. You know what I mean? I'm the girl in the house. And I don't know no different because once you've been activated like that, spiritual soul ties and stuff, they don't have no, oh, you family member type of situation on it. It just is what it is.
Right.
And so I didn't know not to be jealous because in the house you treated me one way. And out the house you're treating me another way. And so now I'm sitting here and I'm feeling dejected and abandoned and rejected and hurt. And I'm 6 years old. And so we as women, we grow up, and men even, we grow up and we're always chasing, trying to get the attention of the person who we thought loved us when in actuality, they were just having a moment with a feeling. And you feel that. And so now here you are, jealous and chasing. So we got roots. There are roots. And we need to begin to dig them up. It's time to take the mask off because we suffocating and ain't nobody trying to help. And guess why? Because they suffocating too.
Yeah.
And so until we actually learn to be honest and to really open up and say, this is what I'm feeling. I'm not good today. It doesn't matter whether you think I'm the best thing on walking. It doesn't matter whether you think I got a pretty face. It doesn't matter whether you think that everything about me is great. Right now, I feel like I'm losing my mind and I need somebody to help. So now, I'm not okay.
Yes.
No, I'm not okay. So, do get the book. Do get the book. I wish I had some with me, but if anybody here wants one, y'all can cash out me and I'll send it. Or you can go to Amazon. You can get the $2.99. Like, let me tell you about that $2.99. This is real good. I wanted to reach at least 100 people, and that's a small number of hurting people. But I wanted to reach at least 100 people by the end of August. And so I kept it at $2.99 because all you need is an email address and you can send one to your sister, your mama, your cousin, your uncle, them. your cousin down the block. You can get an email address and you can go on Amazon and you can gift it. So for less than $20, you can have a few people reading it at the same time and y'all can discuss it and say, oh my God, I wish I would have been able to tell somebody this myself. But now let me tell you. And then you'll be surprised because then those people start telling you, oh my God, so guess what? When we were this age and you was in this other room, stuff that happened when we were all right there in the same house together. And people didn't know. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? It's real, it's real, it's real. There are some things that my kids still get their tails towed up today for stuff they don't have no business doing. But the molestations, the rapes, the hurt, the abuse, the neglect, get out of my face, I never want to talk to you. You will do what you, because the mamas is hurt.
That's right. Come on.
And they need to unmask. So it's time out for suffocating. It's time for us to take this thing and do what needs to be done. If you are a church, if you are a women's group, if you are a book club, and you want us to come, email me at inspirationaltreasure@gmail.com or go to the same website that I just gave you and do a contact form and say, hey, I need you to bring that here because we need people to unmask. So on top of me being an author, on top of me being a certified life coach, I'm also an ordained prophet of God and minister. So I sound very real, right? Like, oh my God, she's a minister, but I am. And I love the Lord and I love his people.